The truth about why dark chosen ones choose to suffer in silence. Have you ever noticed how the most profound spiritual insights often emerge from places of quiet suffering? There's something deeply mysterious about the way suffering transforms a person. Yet not everyone who suffers comes out wiser, so what sets apart those who do? Today, I'm going to reveal something incredibly profound: why certain souls, whom I call the dark chosen ones, consciously or unconsciously choose to bear their pain silently. This isn't just ordinary silence, the kind of quiet that fills an awkward moment or calms an angry storm. This silence is deeper, older, almost cosmic in nature. It speaks without words, communicating a truth beyond the reach of ordinary speech. Maybe you're one of them. Maybe you felt something all your life, an unspoken calling, an unnameable pain that isolates you from the rest of the world. But here's the catch. This isolation isn't accidental. It isn't a curse or punishment. It's actually your spiritual path unfolding in a way most others will never understand. Have you ever asked yourself why you're drawn to solitude? Why the loud noises, bright lights, and crowded rooms drain you, while silence and shadows recharge your soul? That's because you carry an energy different from others, darker, deeper, and infinitely richer in spiritual wisdom.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lesson.
Most people misunderstand the concept of darkness. Society labels darkness as evil, fearful, something to run from, something to dispel at all costs. But spiritual darkness isn't about evil. It's about the profound, fertile soil from which true wisdom grows. Light reveals, yes, but darkness nurtures. It is in darkness that seeds find the quiet safety to sprout roots, away from prying eyes and harsh conditions. Similarly, dark chosen ones know instinctively that their spiritual wisdom needs to grow silently, in secret, hidden away from judgment and misunderstanding. But why suffer in silence? Why not share your pain openly, find comfort, seek validation? This is the secret. Dark chosen ones know intuitively that their pain is sacred. It's not something to be casually discussed, posted on social media, or used as currency for attention or pity. It's a spiritual tool, a silent mentor guiding them deeper into themselves. Their suffering isn't pointless, it's purposeful. Every ounce of pain holds hidden knowledge, encoded messages, secret revelations meant only for them. These revelations lose power when spoken prematurely. Sharing them too soon dilutes their strength, their mystery, and their transformative potential. And think about it. How often have you shared something deeply personal, only to feel oddly empty afterward, as though something precious had slipped away? It's because your spiritual revelations aren't meant for everyone. Not all ears can appreciate their subtlety, not all hearts can respect their weight. Dark chosen ones sense this intuitively, guarding their pain like a treasure, knowing that each moment of silent endurance deepens their spiritual understanding. Yet silence also has its cost. Choosing silence means willingly stepping into loneliness. It means accepting that you might be misunderstood, judged, or even rejected by those who cannot comprehend your path. This choice isn't easy. It requires immense courage and clarity of purpose. But the dark chosen ones willingly accept this cost. They understand that loneliness isn't the enemy, it's actually the companion that sharpens their intuition, that clarifies their vision, that refines their spiritual strength. Perhaps you felt this yourself, haven't you? You stand alone in a crowded room, fully aware of conversations around you, yet disconnected, as though you belong to another world entirely. People call this social anxiety, shyness, or introversion, but these labels don't fully capture your experience. You're disconnected because your soul recognizes a deeper reality, something that words fail to capture. Your soul is tuning into frequencies others cannot hear, truths others cannot perceive. Suffering in silence allows dark chosen ones to hear this deeper truth clearly, without interference. Every moment spent quietly enduring pain is like tuning a radio dial, adjusting until a clearer, purer signal emerges. And once tuned into this cosmic frequency, they discover insights so profound, so life-changing, that words become inadequate. They realize that what they've gained from silence is infinitely greater than any validation they could receive from the world. Yet, here's the paradox: while dark chosen ones choose silence, their silence eventually speaks louder than words. Others sense their profound depth, even without explicit communication. People are drawn to them, compelled by a mysterious gravity they cannot explain. It's as though the very silence of their pain radiates wisdom, authenticity, and a raw, undeniable strength. This silent presence becomes their greatest spiritual tool, subtly influencing and inspiring others without a single spoken word. But how can you embrace this silence without feeling overwhelmed? How can you turn suffering into your greatest spiritual ally? Here's a powerful insight: recognize that your pain has purpose. Every challenge, every struggle, every silent tear you shed has meaning. Your pain isn't random, it's designed specifically for your spiritual evolution. Accepting this truth shifts your perspective dramatically. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" start asking, "What is this teaching me?" This simple shift transforms your pain from a burden into a teacher. Another practical step is to find sacred rituals to honor your silence. Journaling privately, meditating, or simply sitting quietly in nature can help you channel your silent suffering into tangible spiritual growth. These practices create safe spaces where your pain can teach you without overwhelming you. They help ground your energy, clarifying the insights your suffering is trying to reveal. But here's an essential caution: avoid becoming attached to your suffering itself. Remember, your goal isn't to wallow in pain endlessly, but to extract its hidden wisdom and then rise above it. Pain is a temporary mentor, not a permanent companion. It shows you deeper truths, then urges you onward toward healing, strength, and ultimately spiritual freedom. Have you ever considered the possibility that your silent suffering isn't just personal but collective? Perhaps your pain serves a higher purpose, a spiritual mission to heal not only yourself but generations before and after you. By enduring in silence, you transmute old energies, breaking cycles of trauma and spiritual blindness. Your quiet strength heals ancestral wounds, cleansing your family line of past burdens, freeing future generations from suffering. Now, here's a question to ponder deeply. Are you ready to fully embrace your silent suffering, understanding its sacred purpose, and step courageously into your true spiritual identity? An incredible revelation awaits in the next part, something powerful about the invisible spiritual guidance that comes specifically to dark chosen ones in their darkest silence. Are you ready to uncover the mystery behind who or what actually guides you through your silent suffering? The invisible guide: why your silent suffering holds hidden spiritual power. Who or what is guiding you silently through the shadows of your suffering? Perhaps you've sensed it before, an unseen presence gently nudging you forward, a mysterious intuition whispering in the back of your mind. Often dark chosen ones feel they walk alone through their trials, but the truth is far more profound. There's a hidden spiritual guidance that chooses specifically to meet you in the depths of your quiet pain. And this guidance rarely speaks in obvious signs. Instead, it reveals itself subtly through synchronicities, dreams, intuitive nudges, and quiet epiphanies that occur precisely when you feel most lost. This invisible guide isn't merely a comforting presence, it's an essential component of your spiritual journey, a force that deliberately orchestrates your experiences so you can awaken to deeper truths. But why would spiritual guidance choose silence? Why not simply announce itself clearly, easing your confusion and pain immediately? Because true growth requires uncertainty, mystery, and faith. If spiritual guidance were always explicit, you'd miss the opportunity to develop your inner wisdom, resilience, and intuition. You wouldn't learn to trust your own soul's voice. So, this guidance deliberately stays quiet, leaving subtle breadcrumbs of insight for you to follow. Have you ever experienced sudden moments of clarity during deep sorrow, an unexplainable surge of strength at your lowest point, or a synchronistic event that seemed tailored exactly to your struggles? Those aren't coincidences. These moments are your invisible guidance gently intervening, subtly reassuring you that your suffering isn't random. Each synchronicity, each intuitive nudge, serves as confirmation that you're exactly where you're meant to be, even when you feel utterly lost. Understanding this radically transforms your experience. Suddenly, silence isn't empty, it's filled with profound, loving guidance. Yet there's something deeper here, something incredibly powerful and rarely acknowledged. Dark chosen ones attract spiritual guidance precisely because they willingly face darkness and uncertainty. You see, spiritual guides resonate most powerfully with those who consciously embrace life's deeper mysteries. They're drawn to your courage, your willingness to look directly into shadows that others fearfully avoid. In other words, your silent suffering isn't merely a burden. It's a magnet that calls forth powerful spiritual energies eager to support you. However, the nature of this spiritual support might surprise you. Often it doesn't feel comforting in the conventional sense. Instead, your invisible guide may intentionally push you toward greater challenges, deeper pain, and heightened confusion, not to punish you, but because it recognizes your immense potential for spiritual evolution. I think about this carefully. How many times has your intuition urged you toward situations that seemed initially painful or terrifying, yet later revealed themselves as transformative opportunities? This isn't accidental. Your guide knows precisely which trials will awaken your hidden strengths and spiritual wisdom. But here's the tricky part. You must cultivate profound trust, especially when your guidance seems harsh or absent. Can you continue trusting your path even when spiritual silence feels deafening? Can you remain faithful to your intuition even when external validation vanishes entirely? True spiritual maturity emerges when you rely less on obvious signs and more on deep, unwavering inner trust. The more silent your guidance becomes, the greater your opportunity to develop authentic faith. So, practically speaking, how can you deepen your connection to this invisible spiritual guidance? First, learn to quiet your mind regularly. Practicing mindfulness, meditation, or simply sitting silently without distraction allows subtle messages to surface. Often, guidance communicates in whispers, easily drowned out by noise and busyness. Creating space for silence helps you become attuned to these gentle nudges. Second, pay close attention to synchronicities. Notice recurring patterns, symbolic events, dreams, or intuitive hunches. Keep a journal of these moments. Over time, you'll recognize clear patterns, specific signs repeatedly guiding you towards certain decisions, truths, or actions. By consciously tracking these subtle clues, your relationship with spiritual guidance becomes clearer and more powerful. Third, embrace solitude not as punishment, but as sacred space for spiritual intimacy. View solitude as a rare opportunity to meet your invisible guide directly, without distractions or interference. Solitude transforms from loneliness into sacred communion when you realize you're never truly alone. Your invisible guide always waits patiently in silence, ready to share wisdom whenever you're ready to listen deeply. Yet, perhaps the most transformative realization is this: your invisible guidance isn't something external, separate from you. It's deeply interwoven with your soul itself. In moments of silent suffering, You're not simply hearing whispers from an external entity, you're hearing your soul's truest voice. Spiritual guides, synchronicities, and intuitive nudges are actually expressions of your deepest self, your higher wisdom speaking directly to you. So here's a profound question to consider deeply. Can you accept that you are both the seeker and the guide, the sufferer and the healer, the darkness and the light? In the next part, you'll discover something astonishing, the secret hidden reason why your soul chose this exact path of silent suffering long before your birth. Are you ready to uncover the cosmic truth behind why you specifically chose to carry darkness quietly? The hidden cosmic truth, why your soul chose the path of silent darkness. Have you ever paused to wonder why your soul, in its infinite wisdom, would choose a life defined by silent suffering and quiet endurance? Before your first breath in this world, before your first step into this human existence, your soul made a powerful, intentional choice. It selected a journey of shadows, silence, and solitude, not from ignorance or punishment, but from a profound awareness of the immense spiritual growth that darkness uniquely offers. Here's something crucial to understand. Souls that incarnate as dark chosen ones aren't ordinary souls. They're experienced, courageous spiritual travelers who've willingly chosen difficult paths across lifetimes because they recognize the hidden gifts within suffering. Think deeply for a moment. Would a young, inexperienced soul dare to journey into life's darkest corners? Unlikely. Only a wise, courageous soul familiar with spiritual depths could deliberately choose silence, solitude, and struggle as its pathway toward enlightenment. Your silent suffering isn't a random punishment, it's a sacred agreement your soul made long ago. But why would your soul agree to this? Why embrace darkness and quiet isolation willingly? Because your soul understood clearly something few ever realize. The brightest spiritual wisdom emerges only from the darkest soil of experience. Your silent pain acts like spiritual fertilizer, nourishing insights that grow deeper, richer, and far more resilient than those born from ease or comfort. Yet, your soul's choice also serves another profound purpose, one that extends beyond yourself. You aren't merely enduring silently for personal growth, you're silently transmuting collective darkness into light. I think carefully about your family, community, even humanity itself. Have you noticed patterns of suffering repeating across generations? Your silent struggle interrupts these cycles, offering profound healing that transcends personal pain. By quietly enduring, you alchemize ancestral darkness, transforming generational trauma into spiritual insight, wisdom, and eventual liberation for countless others. This cosmic perspective radically changes your understanding of suffering. No longer is your silence meaningless, it becomes heroic, sacred, essential. You're not a victim of circumstance, you're a chosen spiritual warrior whose quiet endurance is silently shifting entire energetic lineages. Each moment you suffer in silence sends powerful spiritual ripples outward, subtly transforming collective consciousness toward greater compassion, wisdom, and spiritual awareness. But here's an even deeper secret. Your soul chose this challenging path because it knew you could handle it. You were trusted explicitly by the universe to endure darkness without being consumed by it. Your silent suffering is a testament to your soul's extraordinary strength, resilience, and wisdom. Embrace this truth, deeply realize you're not merely surviving, you're fulfilling a sacred mission entrusted only to souls capable of immense spiritual courage. Yet, even knowing this truth, the path remains difficult. How can you sustain yourself through ongoing struggles? First, remind yourself regularly of your soul's higher purpose. When overwhelmed, pause and affirm, "My soul chose this path because it trusts my strength. I am not alone, I am guided, protected, and supported by invisible forces of profound love and wisdom." Second, practice gratitude even for your suffering. Gratitude transforms pain into spiritual insight. Regularly express appreciation for your trials, recognizing each as a sacred opportunity your soul carefully orchestrated. So here's a deep question to ponder. Knowing your soul deliberately chose this silent, difficult path, how will you now honor this sacred agreement through your daily choices, thoughts, and actions? The final revelation: how embracing silent suffering unlocks your ultimate spiritual power. Have you ever wondered what truly lies beyond the veil of your silent suffering? You've journeyed far, enduring quietly, bravely facing shadows most would flee from. But what is the ultimate spiritual reward that awaits you at the end of this profound silence? Here's the powerful truth. Embracing your silent suffering fully doesn't weaken you, it awakens within you a spiritual power so profound, so radiant, it has the potential to change not only your life, but the lives of everyone around you. When you consciously choose to accept and transmute your darkness, you activate your soul's deepest gifts: clarity, wisdom, empathy, and an extraordinary, intuitive understanding of life's mysteries. But how exactly does silence lead to such immense power? Because silence creates sacred space, a spiritual void that your higher self naturally fills with insight. Silence amplifies your connection to the universe, sharpening your intuitive abilities beyond ordinary limits. You become able to read energies, intentions, and subtle spiritual signals with astonishing clarity. Situations that confuse or overwhelm others become transparent to you, allowing you to navigate life with quiet certainty and grace. Embracing silent suffering also dramatically deepens your capacity for compassion. Because you've silently endured your own pain, your heart naturally opens to the silent suffering of others. You become an energetic healer, quietly influencing others through your presence alone. People instinctively trust you, sensing your profound empathy and spiritual strength, even if you never say a word. Yet, your greatest spiritual power emerges in your unwavering authenticity. Silent suffering strips away false masks, ego-driven identities, and superficial attachments. It reveals your truest self, untouched by societal expectations or external validation. This authenticity radiates powerful energy, attracting profound opportunities, relationships, and spiritual connections into your life effortlessly. But to fully unlock this power, you must consciously choose to emerge from silence when the time is right, not through loud words or dramatic actions, but by embodying your quiet strength in daily life. Let your silent wisdom infuse your interactions, your choices, and your very presence. Allow your authentic self, forged from the quiet depths of pain, to gently guide others toward their own spiritual awakening. Here's the deepest secret of all: once you embrace silent suffering fully, you no longer suffer, you transcend. Pain transforms into peace, confusion into clarity, isolation into profound spiritual unity. You recognize your darkness not as something separate to fear, but as a sacred part of your soul's journey toward enlightenment. So now I leave you with the ultimate question to ponder deeply. Are you ready to fully embrace your silent suffering, trusting that beyond it lies your truest, most powerful self, a self destined not merely to endure quietly, but to transform darkness into a luminous beacon of spiritual wisdom for the world? Remember, you chose this sacred path, and now your greatest spiritual power awaits your conscious awakening.